had gathered around her in a dense circle, like elders at a tribal meeting. She became aware of so many personalities: stern old Irokos that never laughed, solid obeches with their proverbial air, bright young flame trees with lively senses of humor, growing jacarandas with chattering branches, very ancient baobabs that were economical in their movements and seemed to pour out wisdom. There were trees that liked talking and trees that had the gift of listening. They all crowded round her and were fascinated by her presence among them. For a long time, they did not say anything. Then at last, one of them, a lively young jacaranda, very sensitive and curious, said, "We should ask her." "Not yet," replied another tree. "She isn't ready," said a third. "It would be asking too much of her," said a fourth. "I agree," piped up a fifth. "Can't you see that she's quite young?" "All the better," said a sixth, a deep-voiced obeche. "It's the young who can understand." "I think we should wait," said a seventh tree, who sounded very old and wise. "Let's wait and see what she's made of. It has to be the right person. It will be wasted if she is not the right person." "She is the right person. See how she looks at us," said one who had spoken before. "I think you're right. She can hear us, can understand us. That's already a lot. Still, let's wait. We've waited this long. A bit longer won't make any difference." This older, wiser voice seemed to decide the rest of them. They fell silent, but still crowding round her and looking at her with wonder. She looked back at them, and they seemed to her like people she knew, people from the village, people she had heard about. She was not sure why she had this feeling. They continued in their silence. At last she said, "What is it you're waiting for?" The tree said nothing. "Why am I not ready? Ready for what?" The trees stayed silent. "I can't stay here forever. I've got to go home. My parents will be thinking something has happened to me by now." She began to get up, and the trees returned with a swishing sound to their original positions. They were no longer bent over her. They no longer seemed like people that she knew. They now seemed only like trees. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe I only imagined them talking. How silly of me, Mangoshi said aloud to herself. Then she looked for the way back home. The path became clear and she followed it through the forest, listening to the sound of the birds and the murmur of leaves when the wind rushed past. At last she saw the rooftops of the village. She saw people talking and heard the noises of people in their kitchens preparing dinner. The fragrance of the stews made her hurry a little. Darkness had come over the forest. If she had stayed in there a moment longer, she might not have found her way home. Her parents had been worried about her, and they were relieved to see her. It was only when they asked her about the flower she was sent to pick that she realized she didn't have it. She must have lost it somewhere in the mist. Her parents were sad she had lost it, but were happier to have their daughter back home safe and well. She ate her dinner and listened to a story her mother told her. It was a story of a hunter's strange experience in the forest. The story was so fascinating that she fell into the story and found herself talking with the hunter and wandering about in the forest. Then she was in bed. Before she fell asleep, she remembered what the trees had said about her not being ready. She thought about it a lot before she drifted off. The next day, Mangoshi was anxious to go back to the forest. But she had lots to do, many errands to run. It was early in the evening, before dinner, that she found time to play. She set out for the forest, taking the route she'd taken before. But as she went in, the paths multiplied again, and she couldn't remember where she had gone or where she had heard the trees talking. She got a bit lost. The evening got darker. She made a real effort to remember her way home and was grateful when she found it. Over the next couple of days, Mangoshi did not go back to the forest. She was even beginning to forget her experience there when one night she heard something scratching at her window. She went to the window, looked out, and saw nothing but the leaves of the trees near their house. Back in bed, she was falling asleep when she heard a whisper. "We are waiting for you," a voice said. Mangoshi was